Well, as a reward for surviving 2 weeks of hell at the Nematusen, God, that was a shit job, I have the most expensive piece of beef I've bought in a long time. This is, well, it's 550 grams, but it is Black Angus strip loin. Very skinny one, because it's the kind of the tail end. I'll just do the whole thing though. He-Man beef. 300 kroners, so 60 bucks, or 40, 50 bucks or something like that, for one piece of beef. And then I'm going to mash the real way, the Robuchon way, or the Guillaume way from Quay. Whole boiled potatoes. You should really use small rat potatoes, but these are pimpernels, so they'll do fine. And then those just get boiled till they're soft, and then peeled while they're still hot. And then I've got my baby mouli, or moulin, or food mill. It's a little small. In the restaurant, obviously, we use a big one and 3 apprentices peeling potatoes with disposable gloves on while they're still boiling hot, and then butter and milk, and that's all there should be, and no salting afterwards because there's salt in the water. I'm not sure if it's the right amount, but I just guessed. So that's it. So it's a bit of a job, but the results are worth it. And then I'm making a big batch so I have for later. Well, they're going to take a while. They're kind of medium to large sized potatoes, and they have to be really cooked through. So just chill to some funky grooves on Tidal, and maybe dig out a guitar and jam out a little bit for the next 45 minutes or whatever it's going to take, and then the pain begins. I found a mouli. This is my mouli. It's tinned, it's Foley. I think it's made in the US. Everything tinned is really expensive. So the mouli, which is the same as we used at Quay and other restaurants, the big one was 389 euros. So obviously it's 3 times as big for making commercial quantities of mash. That's all you use it for. No one uses it to puree vegetables or whatever it is. It's called a food mill, but it's really for mashed potatoes. So I mean, that's a bit expensive, so probably not going to happen, and I don't really have the space, and I'm mostly making just for myself here, one person. So but this is little food mill is really a little bit too small. So I mean, this is going to be a pain in the butt. And one thing is, you should really peel the potatoes while they're hot into the pot there, and hot butter and milk at the same time while the potatoes are still hot, and straight from the mouli. So which is why we used 3 apprentices peeling the potatoes and into the mouli while someone stirred, and in the butter and the milk. It was an operation. It sucked. Anyway, and then this is the same method though. You just scale it up. Scale this up, and you basically have the Guillaume Brahimi Quay, or he learned it from Robuchon, using small rat potatoes, which must be a nightmare to peel. But we used Désiré potatoes in Sydney. But just scale it up, and then you've got the restaurant mash. No funny things, no garlic, no celeriac, no weird shit in the mash. Just potatoes, milk, and butter. Well, I have another 20 minutes, so... Go. Morning over. What is boiling? Potatoes are almost done. Alright, enough of that. A little fun. I have to do something while the potatoes cook. Anyway. While the potatoes nearly cooked, I mean, just stick a knife through them. Goes through easily, fine. But if there's some resistance, I mean, they have to be fully cooked. There's different methods of doing this, obviously. One is to peel them, chop them into slices, boil them, wash them first to get rid of the extra starch, and then boil them, and then in a moulie, and or some people use a meat grinder, or you can even use, although you get lumps, which is not very good, big floor mixer, but moulie is best. Advantage of cooking them in the skins is they don't get too wet. And then you have to get lots of apprentices out and then put on gloves because it's hot, and sit there, peel the damn potatoes and put through the moulie. So that's what I'm doing, because that's what I learned at Quay and that's the Robuchon method, uh, I guess. But the other methods, you can bake them as well and then peel them, and then they're even drier, which is, you want dry potatoes, and you dry them. You dry the potatoes out on the stove while you add hot milk and cubes of butter. Uh, or the alternative is to have hot milk and butter melted in the milk and pour that in. I don't know if it makes a huge difference. The verdict is out there. But I mean, I've got probably just another 5 or 10 minutes on these potatoes here, and then I have to get my gloves out. And again, 2 pairs. I don't have latex gloves, I have nylon ones. And then the mash keeps for a service, and then you reheat it in a little pot with some hot milk and whip it up. But it's important with mash not to overwork it. So I mean, ideally, if you overwork it, which is why you never use a blender or a kitchen machine or whatever, shaking machine, whatever they call it, never use a Robuchon, because you turn it to starch, and that's no good. So you want to work it as little as possible, but whip it up so it's light and airy. That's my advice for the mash. Then I have this huge piece of beef, but I mean, don't have to really show video of that, and that's just brown in the oven, out, rest, and then chomp down. And I don't make my own beef stock, I buy a red wine sauce. So I mean, but this is the first time I've made proper mash in many years, because it's so much work, and then the peeling potatoes while they're boiling hot and you scald your skin is so painful that I don't do it that often. And Robuchon used probably equal parts potato and butter. I think that's too much. I think I've used 2 kilos of potatoes, and then I don't know how many grams of salt, because you salt the water, not the mash. But 450 grams of butter and circa 2 kilos of potatoes. So that'll keep me going for a while, and then I can just reheat it, which is not good. Never reheat potatoes or mash, and it tastes bad, but it's only my small apartment and I don't care. So I mean, that's that. Anyway. So I'm getting pretty close. Focus. If I'm in focus, I've put a milk, which just to go on the boil and then not overcook and spill all over my stove. I have a pot for, if you can see it, to put the mash in, and then I've got cube butter. That's 450 grams of butter for 2 kilos of potatoes. I think Robuchon probably used equal parts butter and equal parts potato, which is too much. I mean, that's too rich. And then I've had some chefs who told me to use cream, which is no good. I think that was Michel Roux they worked at. No, that's no good. That's too rich. That's not good. And I've got 1% milk, which I should really use whole milk, but it's what I had. So I mean, I wasn't going to go out and buy whole milk just for this one mash. But anyway, so another probably, I mean, just testing the potatoes. Goes through easily, but I think we're very close. I think I'll give them another 5 minutes to make sure they're completely cooked through. Drain them, which goes in colander, and then I get to put on the gloves and start peeling, and then putting them through the mouli, which is really too small. This is really for making baby food or something. but it was expensive even 30 years ago because it's tinned. And everything tinned and like that, and from France, although this is a US one, is really expensive. So this is probably $150. And a commercial moly, big one, like we use in the restaurants, is 400 euros or thereabouts. So, expensive toys. It's like getting a, whatchamacallit, I forget now. Anyway, this is going to be a long video, but I mean, my definitive video on how to make a good mash. Le mash! As the mash is no good! As Guillaume Brahimi would say. Dick. Well, I'll put the milk on because that has to be hot when the potatoes go through the moly into the big pot. And cubes of butter. And then whipped up. But don't overwork the mash. That's the main point. Don't ever overwork the mash. Fold it in if you have to. That's the main point. Overwork the mash, it'll turn into glue, and that's no good. We want light, fluffy, light mash, which tastes of potatoes, milk, and butter. So anyway. Alright, then it's time to start peeling. Sucks. So potatoes have kind of cracked. That's no good because water gets in, but into the colander. Hot. And then the milk is boiled over. Even though I turned it off. That's alright. Smells of burnt milk now. So, even brought out my proper apron, which has seen a lot of use over the years. From going back to some of those English style aprons, skinny things like Marco Pure White. I'll turn down the music a bit. So, not quite working these gloves, but I need 2 pairs. Latex gloves would have been better. Got nylon ones. They're out of latex gloves. Anyway, not really perfect, but so milk is boiled. These are really hot. This is the part that sucks. Having really hot potatoes in your hands and peeling and putting in the food mill. These are waxier than I would like. So I mean, they're not. Ow! That's actually really hot. This is what I hated about this job when I was an apprentice. But now I can, have a glass of red wine while I make my mash. So this is the traditional French way of making mashed potatoes. Well, there's a bad one there. While it's boiling hot, peel them in the masher. So a real pain in the ass. Took 3 apprentices to do this, and I'm gonna have to fast forward the video. Ow. It's really hot. It's boiling. Anyway, potato goes in. Do it, third one. Ah. So this was a totally shit job. I'm going to fast forward most of this because it's really boring me peeling potatoes. Mash it down. So that continues while I can still do it, and then add a bit of hot milk. And then beaten the butter. So it's an operation, as you can see. And it sucks, but the mash is really good at the end of the day. And this is how we did it at Quay, which was famous for its mashed potatoes. Hot potatoes. So and the quality of the mash really depends on the quality of the potatoes and the butter and the milk. Well, the milk is pretty simple, it's milk, but I mean, I bought expensive butter at 70 kroners a kilo, a piece, hand churned and everything from fresh cream. So I mean, that should make a difference. Do one more. Anyway, brings back bad memories. Peeling a 50-kilo bag of potatoes. So I'll fast forward this part, I think. But boiling in the skins makes it a bit drier, but you could steam it. Ow. You could steam it or bake it. That makes the potatoes a bit drier. Then add some butter. A lot of butter. So I don't think I need much more milk or much more butter. It's already very wet. So I mean, I think that's enough butter and milk.